I'd like to invite Jefferson to come up to their positions. However, you can sit at the table or you could be at the podium, whatever you'd like. And while they're doing that, just a reminder, these are our spotlights that go over our school improvement leadership team process, school improvement plans, and everything that has been going on the past 3 years, really, for this process, culminating based on the work of the strategic plan work that you all put in a few years ago. So we'll let Jesse Guzman go ahead and start.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here this evening, and a special thank you to Dr. Boozer and Dr. Taylor for allowing schools to come and show off the great work that's happening and the amazing thing that's happening in each of the schools. And so on behalf of Jefferson, I'm here with my entire SILT team here, and most of them will be presenting tonight. And so we'll start off with Joanne Dusenberry, who is our chair for our social emotional. And then, you already said Jesse Guzman, principal, in case you didn't know. So I'm the admin that supports the SEL. And then we have Kellen Cyrock, who is our chair for our academic engagement. And Jessica Hines, our associate principal, who is the admin that supports that committee. Then we have Megan Sowicki, who is our equity chair, and our assistant principal, Mel Kearns, who supports that committee. Then we have Jake Carlisle, who is over our culture and climate committee. And then Dr. Mark Butler, our dean of students, who is the admin that supports that committee. And so also we have Lindsay Hassler, our instructional coach, who supports all committees, but primarily our academic engagement committee. And a special shout out to the additional Jefferson staff here. Could you stand, please? Thank you. So we'll go to the next slide. Sorry, I'm not graceful with the transition. Oh, I get the clicker. Okay. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. So back in 2020, when we started our school improvement leadership teams, we did an assessment with the entire Jefferson staff, and through collective feedback, these were the 4 areas that as a building we wanted to focus on: equity, academic engagement, social emotional learning, and culture and climate. And so as you can see, we have each mission statement listed there. I won't read through each and every one of those to save some time, but they're right there for you. Data and accountability. On our winter 2023 MAP school-wide school profile, we have seen a large shift in our student growth percentiles in mathematics and continue to reduce the academic gap by the time students are leaving us in 8th grade. And so over 3 years, we're seeing fewer and fewer students in that bottom 10% in math. And so we're moving students out of that lower percentile. Also, when we look at our winter 2023 MAP results, from fall to winter, our most significant academic success is the reduction of students in the bottom 10% for math and reading among our Black students. For Panorama, our school showed significant increase in the following areas: growth mindset, self-efficacy, and sense of belonging. We've had a percentage increase there. Also with growth mindset, as a nation, we rank in the top 80th to 99th percentile for growth mindset. And so we really work to make sure Jefferson is a place our students feel welcome, and it's a supportive place for all of them. And so when we look at our DR data, when we look at our discipline data, compared to last year, we have seen a significant decrease in major infractions such as altercations, drug-related offenses, verbal abuse, that has declined. Also, our highest utilized behavior response to discipline referrals is becoming more restorative centered. So we're talking more with students, getting in touch with families, parent contacts. And so that's actually being noted in our wraparound for our students and our consequence actions. And then for areas to focus on, our accountability is the opportunity gap still exists among our Black and white students, but also our students with special education services. And so those are areas that we're going to continue to work on. Up next is our focus learning statement through focused schools. Went the wrong direction there. And our Kellen is going to take over. So there you go.
Hi, my name is Kellen Cyrock, and I'm the reading specialist and dyslexia therapist at Jefferson Middle School. Our focused learning statement is Jefferson Middle School students will expand their content area vocabulary knowledge in order to increase reading comprehension of informational and literary texts. This is our adult version, but as you will see, there are photos. Our students have started to brainstorm student-friendly versions thanks to our fabulous librarian, Ms. Anderson, and with the help of our instructional coach, Ms. Hassler, as well. So we will be landing on a student-friendly focused learning statement very soon. All right, so within the Academic Engagement Committee, we have done a lot of stuff in the past 2 years. So initially, we did a deep dive of data, and we really analyzed the data, not only from MAP, but other diagnostic assessments as well. So we really wanted to determine student strengths, but also in deficit areas in specific regard to literacy skills. So as you know, MAP is only one data point, so it's really important that we gather other data points as well. So at the beginning of the school year, we did some diagnostic assessments in classrooms, and then also myself, I pulled some students to do some diagnostic assessments to really pinpoint where do we need to focus. So as a result of that, we kind of landed on identifying vocabulary as a school-wide focus. So if you're familiar with teaching reading, you know that a lot goes into being a fluent reader. So not only word recognition, but also having the language comprehension and the background knowledge. And so we have students kind of all over the spectrum. And so we thought vocabulary would be a really good place to land because not only does it support students in word recognition, but it also increases their vocabulary knowledge, which ultimately supports reading comprehension. So after landing on that, we also meet bi-monthly to just increase our committee understanding of evidence-based practices, and it's all rooted in the science of reading, which is a vast body of research, and how it applies to adolescent literacy in all of our content areas. So we are truly hitting all of our students to ensure that all students have access to grade level content. We have started a monthly newsletter, including instructional strategies and further resources for learning in regard to vocabulary instruction. Oftentimes, we will include podcasts or research, books, websites that adults can use in the classroom, and just a plethora of resources for teachers to use. Additionally, we have provided some in-house professional development sessions on the science of reading for all content teachers with a specific vocabulary and language focus. More recently, we have started and initiated some horizontal and vertical alignment with vocabulary. So across the grade levels and contents. So we're really seeing the horizontal alignment, but also the vertical alignment with the vocabulary, and specifically identifying common morphemes. So a morpheme is the smallest unit of language to really provide that understanding of what the vocabulary might mean. And this is throughout all contents. We also have a building-wide instructional drive that includes graphic organizers, resources, teaching protocols, all supported by AVID and the science of reading. And then one thing I'm really super excited about that we just most recently kind of landed on was identifying a diagnostic vocabulary assessment to utilize across the school in addition to our MAP data to inform our instruction. Here are some lovely photos of our student engagement newsletter. Staff get these the last Friday of each month, and they are also posted in the bathroom. So whenever they're in the bathroom, they can read them. And then these are also housed on our instructional drive as well. So you'll just notice that the primary thing is just really honing in on the instructional strategy, but then also including some research in bite-sized pieces, because oftentimes reading research can be very overwhelming. And so just kind of including that, and then stuff on executive functioning or just resources and different things like that. All right.
Hi, my name is Megan Swicky. I teach 7th grade reading at Jefferson, and I am the SILT Equity Chair. So in Jefferson in August, we thought, how can we continue to make Jefferson more equitable? So right off the bat in our August PD, we did relational capacity, and we found those modules from Avid. So we had that backing of Avid to help teachers build relationship with students. The more relationships you build, the more successful they will be academically, socially, and emotionally too. And that's what we want them to become citizens in closing that gap too. So we had that PD right off the bat. We also had staff do a self-audit, a culturally responsive classroom self-audit. In August, that beginning of the week, that first week we did this, which is super reflective. So you did your own self-audit, then you met with your team to kind of talk about like, I'm really strong at this. How can we support each other? And then we did like a whole grade level too, to see like, what are our strengths and weaknesses and how can we continue to grow? Also in the beginning, we went back to our policies and procedures and what do we need to continue to refine and fix? So we implemented a school-wide tardy policy to make sure that tardies are same across the board, no matter what space you walk into. Hats and hoods, hall passes, just those things that sometimes fall off that we just need to refine for our students. We are working currently on revitalizing PBIS. PBIS is so powerful and can be so powerful if it is implemented all the way for behavioral and academic success for everyone. And kids are loving it right now. And it's so great to see them come with all their tickets to the store and get all their snacks. We've also done lots of book studies. So this year we have done collective equity, and last year we have done some as well. So staff can sign up for as many as they want. The book is great to have these discussions, but also what's super powerful is to have time to sit and talk to colleagues that we don't get to talk to all the time since we're all in different spots. We don't have that common space to actually have those conversations. So that's super powerful too. And something that I was super excited about, we did school-wide classroom resets to help students and empower students when they know that, okay, I got sent out of class, I need to refocus my energy and get focused on academics right now. But when we send a kid out of class at 12, we want them to like fix behavior and come back in and be good. But like, what are they doing in the hallway? Like a 12-year-old, right? Like we're standing around, right? So like they fill out a quick form to kind of like process their behavior and their thought process, and then come back and be ready to have a conversation. This also helps with the work that's happening in ILC with our SSAs and our tier 2 counselor too, which is great to have all of that wrap around for our students. And then Ms. Kearns is going to talk about Spark.
I got to pull this down a little bit. Sorry. Melissa Kearns, assistant principal. I am co-chairing equity with Megan. And one of the most exciting things that we're so, pumped to share with you is some of the successful things that have come out of our equity work within after school programming. So essentially one of the things we kind of recognized is we did some surveys. We found that the programming that we are currently using for after school wasn't really serving certain demographics of our students. We were noticing that for girls, they wanted a certain program that athletics didn't offer. We're noticing for our gentlemen, we were hosting athletic programming that just wasn't being offered. And so what we did is we surveyed all of our kids, thanks to some of our PE team. And we found out, what do our kids want at Jefferson? What's going to keep them bought in? What's going to keep them coming day in and day out? And so what we found is we wanted to build something. And so we kind of, called upon Rhonda and some of you at the table and getting some funding to do this. And so you will share a little bit of data with you. So far, last school year, we only did it for half the year. We served 203 students. We've doubled that this year so far in just 3 quarters. 406 students have gained access to our program. We've hired 13 staff and 2 coordinators to do that work. The structure is simple. The kids come in after school. They have the first hour for high leverage tutoring. We have staff that are trained to do that and do small groups. We also offer reading and math intervention for an hour. We have 72 students that have had access to that this year as well, 2 interventionists that are running that. But then that second hour is the most meaningful. That's where we enter enrichment courses. So these are courses that kids have generated ideas for, in which we've hosted. So we've gone on our way to find ways to get Rhonda to help us do esports and gaming at Jefferson. We've had intramurals, collaborative board gaming, culinary arts and crafts, Lego robotics, self-care, beauty shop. Some of our members have even gotten their nails done at Jefferson, including myself, hip hop, dance, design creations, and STEM. So it's truly an all-encompassing way of us addressing the whole needs of the whole student and child. And so we've invited them to stay at our school for 2 extra hours to engage with us both in academics and non-academic areas. This year alone, we've hosted 75 hours of programming versus last year when I did 50 because we only did half of the year, and we still have a quarter to go. And so the biggest piece is our kids are shouting Spark by the rooftops. We have signups going out Thursday, so our parents are excited to be a part of it too. We've had countless emails from parents thanking us for the programming that we're offering. And so we're very thankful that Unit 4 has chosen Jefferson as a place to pour in funding and staffing because it's working. Our panorama data shows it, our academic data is showing it. So we're super excited to share it with you all today. So thank you.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but I'll try. I'm Joanne Dewsbury. I'm the social worker at Jefferson full-time, and I'm the SEL SILT chair. Thank you for being here tonight and listening to us as we share our work. I've been a SILT chair now. This is my 3rd year, going into my 4th year next year. And it's been a journey, with COVID thrown in there too. Definitely haven't, we've seen some ups and downs of the work we're doing in SEL. But we started off this whole thing kind of during the remote learning year, kind of conducting some needs assessment with the current SEL needs of our building. We looked at some of the current SEL curriculum we were using in the building and just asking teachers, do you think this is meeting our students' needs? Do you think it's actually teaching them the concepts they need? Are they engaged in it? Is it interesting to them? And they kind of decided they're interested in learning something more, trying something out that's different. So we kind of went back to Castle, and everybody pretty much knows what Castle is. I can't really define it. I just know it's really great and it's an evidence-based entity. So we love it. And we kind of from there decided to kind of focus on 4 specific initiatives, and that's based off of the SEL indicators, which I'll show a picture of in just a second. But these are our 4 initiatives that we focused on. And then we also decided, or the biggest probably project we're working on is something called Crew. And that's kind of our advisory, our revamped advisory, our 15 minutes a day that we have to really teach direct SEL concepts, relationship building, team building, stuff like that. Circling, it is a circle model. I'll kind of get into this again a little bit later, but the next initiative is our indirect SEL. We're trying to infuse SEL concepts into our content areas, math, reading, writing, all that. Trying to, our long-term goal would be to have teachers use some of that SEL, like, buzzwords, like I feel statements when students are getting restless in class, stuff like that. But that's kind of a long-term goal. We're not quite there yet. But right now we're in the beginning stages. We're doing some, we got some posters around the building and bathrooms to kind of, have those words, those buzzwords in the bathrooms for kids to see, and those concepts in bathrooms for kids to see. We also have some of the projects that we do in Crew. Like, we did a really cool project of an empathy project of In Your Shoes, and we printed off some of those Nike, Jordans, all those cool shoes from that coloring page. Every kid loves it, if you know what I'm talking about. But they wrote 5 things about their life that they could describe to other kids, like what it would be like in their shoes, and we'll be hanging those up after spring break. And some of them got really deep and personal, so it was really cool to see some of these kids' lives, right? And other kids can see that and have some empathy there. Staff SEL is our next initiative. And this kind of has 2 things. One, making sure that staff have good PD to be able to teach SEL concepts. And then 2, that we're making sure that our staff are being taken care of. So we plan little crock pot cook-offs on these half days, plan staff hangouts, stuff like that, making sure that we're having fun and we're building each other up. Last one is student voice, making sure we're empowering students' voices in all of this decision, right? So we do surveys. We've got like a panel discussion. We've kind of surveyed some kids that staff recommended and just had some conversations with them over lunch, stuff like that. So that's kind of our main focus. And I put this slide on here mostly to share that it is from Castle. This is real evidence-based work, trying to be impressive. And I put some arrows on there as well to try to highlight that these are the main indicators we're working on as an SEL SIL team in red. And those are the ones I just covered. And in yellow, those are the ones I kind of share with culture and climate, which they'll go up next. So a lot of this work though, like I have long-term visions and yeah, so I just hope that it continues to grow. But I do want to emphasize crew. Crew is a really cool thing that we've tried to start off. There's been a lot of bumps though. It came from EL education. And EL education is throughout the nation. It's one of the top rated SEL programs in the nation. It very much uses that circle model, and it doesn't really have explicit SEL curriculum, like a scripted curriculum like Second Step. But it uses a circle model to like kind of just make sure that crew leader is having those organic, natural relationship building conversations in their crew. You can have a lot of SEL teaching just with a conversation, right? And the idea is, you know, you have one staff member per like 12 kids. So everyone in your building, as many people as you can, cafeteria staff, you know, the custodian, anyone possible can be a crew leader with proper training. But so, you know, all of this is that circle model, like it shows how much power is in that conversation and that relationship. That's what we really want. We tried that last year. There was a slew of things that we just didn't quite have nailed down. So this year we kind of changed it to be more instructional style. So it is a little bit more like advisory, but we still are trying to have like those days built in with circles. And there is 2 staff members, we call them crew buddies, per every classroom. And we try to break out and do some circle time. Our daily lessons, we have some relationship building activity every week. We have an SEL lesson every week. We have a journal reflection, we have a class discussion, and we have a game. And again, all of that is trying to incorporate as much circle time as we can get. Some of the SEL lessons just have touched on relationship building, growth mindset, emotion identification, empathy, compassion, and celebrating diversity. So thank you.
All right, I'm Jake Carlisle. I'm the SILT chair for culture and climate. Very proud of the work that my committee has done to continue to celebrate our students at Jefferson for their achievements. Some of the things that we've done is we continue to honor them for culture events such as NAPA Day and Culture Awareness Months throughout the year. We're currently creating an achievement night, which is going to be on April 20th, and we're still figuring out the details for that. We've surveyed the staff and they're sending in some thoughts and ideas on how we can recognize students on a bigger platform, a bigger scale. I'm super excited about that. We've highlighted the achievements of the students through just like locker decals that teachers can just make and create for when students are achieving various different types. We have some examples on the next slide that I'll show you. And then we've created a TikTok platform for our students and our teachers to post videos on things that they're learning in class, for incentives that they can share and things. And so one of the things that we've done in PE is we have a Olympics unit that we do. And so we've taken videos of them competing against each other, and they have a great time doing that. And so that's on there too. We are in the process of updating our teacher resource manual, which includes some common Jefferson classroom practices, just to help get all the teachers on board. We've had some new teachers. I think that this will be a great resource for them to see like what other veteran teachers in our school are using to be successful in the classroom. And I'm really excited about being able to support them through that resource. And then the last thing we've done is we've hosted a student panel just to provide our students with some voice on how to improve Jefferson and make it better. Yeah. And so our next slide has, here we go. All right. As you can see, the first one right there, we just started doing this. A huge shout out to Miss Patty Swim, who is our attendance secretary. She has been the one who has kind of taken charge of our donut be tardy to class. And so what we do is we take the data for students that don't have any tardies the week prior. And so today we had a raffle. We put all the students' name in there. We pick out 4 per grade level, a dozen donuts, and then we call them down, we recognize them. And it has been a great hit, big hit. We've been, this our 3rd week, I believe, and the kids are constantly asking me because I'm in charge of the donuts. So they come to the gym, right. They're like, how do I get a donut? You got to be on class, be on time. And so it's been a big hit. They really love it. I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, but it is. There's an example of our TikTok page with different videos that we have posted on there. There's 2 examples just below the donut be tardy. The January, I met my Alex goal. We write the kid's name on there, put it on their locker, and then you can see the perfect attendance, but there's other ones too. We also recognize students for athletics and things like that, just to see like the kids are involved and they get a little recognition. I just talked about the academic night coming up, and we've already discussed the staff potlucks. You want to close out? Keep going around like so.
Sorry. Also, each of you have a bag there for you. Actually, all our incoming 6th graders are going to get this bag when they come visit us in April. All our 5th graders that are going to come visit us here in the next month, they're getting all this Jefferson gear. Again, coming from our SILT work, we want them to really want to come and be excited about coming. And so they're leaving in April when they come with what you have with you right now. And so any questions?
You must have got the message about the swag bags.
Yeah.
Right. This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, before the questions come, I have to say, the energy that you all bring, the passion is so evident. Thank you so much. I love the fact that you're so student-centered and that you're working toward consistency for everything you got going on. And yes, I know Castle is real. I sent the board the framework so they know, yeah, it is actual real thing. So yeah. But I just wanted to say thank you. It's before the questions just come. Amazing. You make my heart sing. So thank you so much.
Ms. Vasquez.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that I took myself off TikTok as an adult about a week ago because I needed to be an adult. And thank you for giving me at least one reason to go back on. We have other questions that are pretty formalized, but this was really extraordinary. And the only thing we said to each other while we were sitting here watching, as she explained a little bit about Castle to me, because she always can do that, before she, as Sheila did as well. We said, why does every student in town, every family in town should be overjoyed at the prospect of Jefferson or Franklin or Edison? And you were in such stable hands in our middle schools and I just thank you for helping us show our community how change may be coming, but they're going to incredible spaces. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's the team effort. It's all of us and we're all in it.
Questions, Kathy?
So I just want to say 2 things. The first one is that I really appreciate your honesty about saying, well, we tried some things the first year. They weren't working so well. And so we adjusted our approach. And I love that because everything's not going to be perfect right out of the gate. And I appreciate your being a model for our students that it is okay to not know all the answers right away. It's okay to try something and have it not work out as well as you wanted it to and change your approach.
So as long as you don't give up.
Exactly.
Just go back and do it again.
Exactly. So I love that. The other thing I wanted to say, and we usually save this for last, but I just want to make sure somebody asks it. How can we support you in your work?
Some of us had some ideas. Because we've watched previous ones and we know we get this question. So
I got one. I just think your guys' support is very important for the teachers and staff. And I would just challenge you guys to think of ways that you could honor the work that we do in Unit 4 to improve the culture and climate amongst the Unit 4.
We really want to keep funding for Spark. So I know originally we had talked about it being temporary. I think it's something that we could really learn a lot from and potentially, I don't want to speak for the middle schools, but I think there's other kids out there that would want it and love it and do it. And so we'd be more than happy to share our model with any of the Unit 4 schools to see how we can make that come alive.
you know me, which none of you do, but if you know me, you know that I'm going to say this. Make literacy a priority. Make literacy a priority for all of our students, not just K2, but all of our students. We can't have equity if we don't have literacy proficiency. So please.
I knew you were going to say that.
Sorry, I'm back on the mic. I think, I mean, I know I'm biased, I'm a social worker, but I mean, our student needs, our SEL needs are just really high. And I know you guys probably know that, you probably hear that all the time, but I really do, I think Crew could really help, you know, try to build relationships and build. The problem with students, like they think they're each other are so different and they don't really get to know like each other. And I think Crew tries to help that, tries to break down those like weird walls that kids create or like we create. And I just think, you know, she says to make literacy a priority. I also, you know, infusing that, like we have to manage these kids' behaviors and they have to manage their own emotions in order to read, in order to learn. And a lot of them come in, they can't read, right? I'm piggybacking off of her, like we see so many behaviors. And I think the biggest thing is like, we just need support and help. And I would really love it if any one of you would love to come and just kind of come and see Crew. I would really love it if any of you reached out, and I will like be happy. I'm James Harden. I don't know if he's here, but I've been wanting to bother him. So I'm coming for you, buddy. But yeah,
I definitely want to echo that because I have sat in on the Crew a couple times and it was amazing. So I couldn't tell it wasn't how you wanted it to be because I think was it with your class? No, I don't know. But anyway, I can't remember, but it was a couple of classrooms, but yeah. So I echo that. And it's something definitely we do need to continue to talk about. So you brought a couple of things that I want to make sure we continue having conversations and how do we make it bigger and, you know, across our system, because that's one of the things you can do with equity as well. But it doesn't have to mirror what you're doing, but what does it look like at Edison? What does it look like at Jefferson? What does it look like at Franklin? But I love the concept. So I did get a chance to sit in on Crew a couple of times. And so I echo that.
thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
We just need to teach these kids like how to say, I feel it mad instead of
Mhm.
like, you know, using
Yeah.
their fists, right?
We
So that's-
and we
that's
can,
what do.
we got some adults that can.
Jesse, you mentioned that you have a reduction in altercations with each other. What do you attribute that to? Are they happy to be back?
Our work here.
All the work.
All the work that we're doing here, Spark, Crew, students' relational capacity, all that work.
It
That's
just
what I attribute
interrupts it.
to.
I love
Yes.
that.
And also from me, I would like to extend a formal invitation for all of you as leaders in our community to come speak to our Avid students. We need speakers, guest speakers to come in to be role models for our Avid students. And so I would love to have each and every one of you in on a Friday to speak to our Avid students.
Please send those invitations formally. I get to go to Kenwood tomorrow and get sorted. So we
Okay.
accept those invitations. So if those invitations come in an email, please be assured
Yeah.
that one back there often helps us get places, but invite us places. We'd like to show up. I'm
Awesome.
so excited to be sorted tomorrow at Kenwood in 13 hours, so we can't have a late meeting because I have to be at Kenwood by 8.
Okay. So you will get those invitations in the next few days. All
We
right.
love those. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you.